Welcome back to Discovery Studios, my very own custom theme park in Planet Coaster 2, where today we are going to be completing the final ever roller coaster in this park. I know, so sad, but it's not the final ride, so stay tuned. But with this brand new roller coaster we've built in the PlayStation themed land, we had left it in the last episode as just the pure layout with this huge warehouse building around it. And as fun as the layout is with those launches and even some rotation in there, the whole ride makes no sense without theming. So today, like I spoke about last time, I'm going to be theming this entire ride to Astrobot with some animatronics and different scenes within the ride that should hopefully capture a story from Astrobot pretty well. So be sure to watch till the end so you can see the entire build process and POV, and be sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. Because like said, as much as this is the final coaster in the park in the PlayStation themed area, we still have a massive dark ride to make in the Pokemon themed land, and potentially that might be the best ride, the biggest ride in the park as a whole, which they do say save the best till last, so maybe I've just listened to that and proactively skipped that dark ride. Definitely not because it was taking way too long to make. Anyway, welcome back to Discovery Studios episode 23. Yes, I remember sat there towards the start of this series saying, oh, this is going to be way shorter than Isle of Discovery ever was. I'm going to build maybe, I don't know, 4 lands, and it'll only take 20 episodes. Clearly hasn't worked out, has it? So we're still going. We've got a few more episodes to go of this series, and this is the final episode of building the PlayStation themed area, because we are finishing off with the Astrobot roller coaster. We built the entire layout last time. If you haven't seen the rest of the area, as in the PlayStation area as a whole, we built a Ratchet & Clank dueling roller coaster, which was very cool. We then built a Crash Bandicoot. I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a river raft roller coaster combo, but it went flying as well. It flew in the air. Yeah, it makes no sense. And then I went on to build the Little Big Planet cardboard box coaster. Of course, a very creative game, so I made probably the least realistic coaster I've ever made for one of my parks, which some people really love, but at the same time I do want to keep to the realism, so maybe it wasn't the perfect idea. But it's really worked for the PlayStation land, because now I can build an Astrobot roller coaster, the different sort of mascots for the different consoles. It only seemed right to do an Astrobot one, and I'm doing that right now with the PS5 outside the front. I might actually change those USB slots on it to be blue, because obviously Astrobot, there is this massive spaceship that is just the PS5, and it does have a couple eyes and a mouth, which you will see inside as I build a PlayStation controller as well. So my original idea for this entrance, of course, if you don't know already, and you haven't watched the last episode, the coaster you can see behind, as much as it launches upwards, it looks a bit like Space Mountain or something. It's kind of that vibe, but more so Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, because it does a bit of rotation here and there. The whole ride pretty much stays forwards until you get to a midpoint where there's like a boss fight, I guess. Then you turn around backwards, and then there's a few rotational pieces in there as well. The whole ride is pretty much based off of Guardians of the Galaxy, so I wanted to do a similar thing of the front entrance and make this sort of shaped building where it's like these rectangular shapes, but they get bigger as they go back, and it makes it kind of look like a triangular building. It's quite hard to explain because it's quite early in the morning, so my brain isn't fully powered. But I tried my best to think of a way of doing that would be really unique. And it just either would have looked the exact same as Guardians of the Galaxy, or looked the exact same as the F1 Test Track Dark Ride that I've made already, because that was a very similar concept for the building, except it looked like an F1 front wing. So that was scrapped, so I thought, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do something completely different. And what I've gone for is building a PS5 and this controller outside the entrance. I'm going to have the PS5 controller actually sort of like leaning on the PS5 itself. You never actually have the controller leaning up against the console, like I'll put it, but whatever, it works. But you will literally enter the ride underneath that controller and go underneath. Oh, I should be moving it now. Here we go. Look at this. There you go. So at first I was tempted to do that, but it looks a bit weird. And then I quite enjoyed putting it on that slant, and you would walk underneath that. I tried it the other way, but there wasn't big enough of a gap. So yeah, left it like that. That's your entrance archway. Thought that was really cool. And here we go with the building behind. So I'm not actually going to build the entire sort of, I don't know, warehouse building as the themed facade and stuff. It will just be a facade in front that covers the eyeline view so you can't even see the warehouse behind. So technically, the warehouse from above will look really out of place, but it won't be because on the ground, you can't see it at all. Which was the whole plan anyway, and it's worked quite well in my favour as I build some of these alloy walls going across and try to make that sort of eyeline view look fine from the ground. You can see it's sort of getting there, so I had a little bit more on the top. And we go from there. But yes, the inside of this ride, you're going to enter in through underneath that controller. Go on sort of like a little outdoor queue line where there might be some covers and stuff. And then you're going to head into the actual building, and there'll be some nice indoor queue sections until you reach the station, and then you'll go inside the main warehouse, which is where all like the stars and everything is, and you're going to see Astrobot loads of times, and it'll follow like a similar story to what the game sort of has. It won't obviously go into like the in-depth galaxies and stuff that they have and go into like all the different levels and all the different boss fights. It will mainly focus on the main boss of the game, which I can't remember the name of, but it's some big green alien guy in like a spaceship or like a saucer type thing. And I feel like that was the perfect way to go about this storyline. And the PS5 and controller at the front does make a lot of sense, because as much as this is a PlayStation area, why didn't you do that in the first bit, where you actually go off to all these areas and do a different facade for this? Well, if you've ever played Astrobot, which funnily enough I actually haven't, which I probably should, but I've researched it a lot, the whole game is based around, right at the start, there's this massive spaceship and it's flying through space, and it's literally got loads of Astrobots on it, and it's shaped like a PS5. And that green alien fella comes along and breaks it up and sort of like chucks it all across the galaxy and all these different levels and stuff that you eventually go into, and you end up rescuing the whole spaceship, all that sort of stuff. But Astrobot himself that you play as gets round the entire space-time continuum, the galaxies themselves, by using his own little spaceship, which is shaped like a PS5 controller. And you'll see me make that for inside the ride as well very shortly. So yeah, literally having the PS5 and the PS controller outside makes the most sense, because they are literally part of the game, and Astrobot is based on, well, he is the PS5 mascot, which is crazy. And now I've got every single mascot in the PlayStation franchise in this park, which is lovely. And we've pretty much finished the final area. Just got to go back to a previous one, because I didn't finish that. And that dark ride's going to be mental. So hopefully you guys enjoy that, and hopefully the wait was worth it. And then after that, the park is finished, and we'll have a nice little closing ceremony, walk around the entire park, maybe a live stream or two, I'm not too sure, and then go from there. And potentially there might be another one in the future, which fingers crossed the next park will not take me as long to make episodes for. Because I know I've been seeing so many comments from you guys saying, where's the next episode of Discovery Studios? It's almost been a month, which I'm pretty sure when I'm uploading this, it probably has been a month, which is, I'm so sorry. Like, that is crazy. I apologise. But it's just so much stuff gets in the way, and Planet Coaster 2 takes so long as well. I can't lie to you, Astrobot as well. I haven't played the game, so I've not got the full attachment to it like I do with the other games, and I had this idea for it, and obviously I went away and I went on holiday and everything, and I come back and I'm like, oh yeah, what was my idea again? And I've come up with better ideas, to be fair, since then, as I go in and put this flat ride in now. It gets very close to the wall, so I have to move it a little bit, but that works. And I don't think these flat rides need much theming, because they just work when you put them in the colour scheme of the PlayStation colours, like the blue and the white and the black. I think it works quite well. So I don't even think they need theming. Maybe like some, like, I don't know, robotic bits around, or like another controller or something, I'm not too sure. But back to the sort of Astrobot and building this coaster and how it's taken me so long. I just think these parks obviously take ages anyway, like my last park did, and all these sort of recreations and stuff, they always take ages. But I feel like this one, because it's recreations of certain IPs and everything like that, I'm trying to research and get the ideas perfect, and I'm trying to do a lot of different stuff as well. I don't think there's many coasters in this park, or many rides, that are actually in the game, and I've actually used different versions of in-game coasters or dark rides or whatever to make them a reality. So obviously trying to do that theme them all correctly and get the story correct for the IP, and also keep it consistent with everything else I've been doing. It's been very tough to do, but I've enjoyed every minute of building in Discovery Studios, and I'm so glad that I've actually been able to keep it somewhat consistent, I guess. I guess there's not really been a month or two where I haven't posted a video. Obviously, we're getting towards a month, or we have got to a month for this one, but, you know, I want to perfect it. I want to make sure it's not rushed, and I've made sure that that is not the case with most of the areas so far, pretty much all of them other than the Pokemon area, because obviously I've then skipped that, which we will go back to. And as I build this wall that covers the queue line for the Wallace and Gromit motorbike coaster. Yeah, so hopefully this park you'll see more episodes of with the new Dark ride very, very soon, but then the next park should hopefully be more consistent, because it won't be an IP-based park. And I can't wait for the end show of this park, because I planned something beautiful for the final showing. The fireworks, the lights, a big surprise in there as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that when that does release. But yeah, just building that sort of warehouse cover to make sure it doesn't look out of place, because if we didn't cover that one, it would just be a green wall in front of the entire PlayStation area. And you can see that building behind. And I do, the thing is about areas that are modern and also like realistic areas, you can't often put too many trees in there because it just doesn't look right. But I love greenery within an area, especially like this. So as much as you'll see, I guess as well, Guardians of the Galaxy, that sort of ride, there's not much greenery around it. There's maybe like a flower bed or something, and that's really it. I could not have no trees. I had to have them. So there's quite a few trees around this area, and I think it looks really nice in the end. I think it looks more like natural. It doesn't look like it's just in the middle of nowhere, and I know it's supposed to be like a spaceport for that PS5 and the controller, but I feel like it's just more supposed to look just quite modern, quite sleek, quite nice. As I put some rocks in, I do like that colour of rock. God, this is the things I've got myself talking about. Oh, look at that rock. Oh, look at that tree. Apologies for the amount of waffle that you've had to put up with during this series as well. Not only has it taken me 17 years to complete the series, but at the same time, I have waffled on for probably 100 years. And none of it's probably made sense. But anyway, as you can see, the PS5 controller spaceship I was speaking about, that is sort of what Astrobot rides to get around the galaxy, and it's a very focal point of the story. So I've then built that. And now we're actually building Astrobot himself. Am I actually going to build anything? Okay. I must have been getting up reference images or something, because I don't know what happened there. But as you can see, sort of putting that little foot there, the white, well, he's mainly white, blue, and a little bit of black in there. So I decided to put that as his legs and then make his body with just art shapes. Art shapes are so easy to use, especially the fact you can scale them up and down now. Like, I can't believe we dealt with that, well, without that in Planet Coaster 1. And with the toy pack as well, I forgot about this. The screen, as you can see, they literally made a screen for one of the characters that walks around, and it's got all these expressions on it and stuff. And at first I was expecting to have to make a screen, or maybe put my own like sort of content in a screen to make his face. Nope. Don't have to do that at all. So that was great. And yeah, you can see me putting his little antenna on the top as well, trying to find like the right piece for it. That's the thing, there's so many pieces in this game now that it's just impossible to actually find the right piece. Like, I could build something and be like, oh, I've built that quite well, I'm quite happy with that. And then 2 days later when I'm building something else, find another piece and go, maybe I should have used that piece instead. So you might see that quite a lot, where I've sort of gone back to things after I've posted the video and then gone, oh, I'm going to change that now. So it's completely different afterwards. And putting the arms on. And he is massive in this in this build right here, but because of the heart shapes again, I can just scale him all the way down, and we can make him the size we need in the ride. So yeah, the whole point of this ride, I have already spoken about it, but the green alien bloke, the main boss in the game, you can see I've put all the stars around, I've made the entire building for it, but you're going to launch up through this nice tunnel. It won't really have a link to Astrobot up the tunnel, and then you'll shoot out into space, and you'll see Astrobot on this controller right here, sort of looking back at you, and it'll be blasting off as you are. And his antenna got a bit disconnected there, but I sorted that out. But yeah, you'll sort of blast off and this controller will be there, light up, and you'll see it blast past that. And then you'll see the PlayStation 5 spaceship above you. You'll bank round and then suddenly like shots will happen in the distance and suddenly the PS5 spaceship's been blown up. And then you'll eventually get around the ride, Astrobot sort of flying away from the PS5 controller. And then you will come face to face with that alien fella. I don't actually know his name. I probably should search that up, shouldn't I? I think I'm going to keep calling him Final Boss Alien Fella or whatever I called him, because he's called Space Bully Nebulax. What an awful name. No, you need a fun name, you know, like Dr. Neo Cortex in Crash Bandicoot, or Ratchet & Clank has Dr. Nefarious or Nefarious, however you want to say it. Space Bully Nebulax. Wow, what a name. But there you go. He's going to sort of, you know, make this whole chaos come out of it, and this is literally the scene I'm building right now, is when the spaceship will blow up, and you'll see it on fire with the sad face instead of the happy face. Oh no. And you'll fly past that. The sort of glow that you can see around, like you can see around that it's very like dark in some places, but as I move back it becomes really like light blue. That just seems to be a game thing. You can't actually sort that. And originally I got really worried because I was like, oh, I'm going to have to make each room individual, and it would just be really, really annoying because I wanted it to be like Space Mountain where it's all in this one room and you've got all the stars and stuff around and certain scenes light up when you go near them. I wanted it to be like that, and I wouldn't be able to do that until I realised that that is only the case when it's daytime. If you put it into nighttime, it looks exactly how you would expect it to. Don't know why that's the case. I've got my settings on max for the inside buildings, like the global illumination, I think it's called. So have no idea why that is the case when you go inside a building and it's just really glowing. But yeah, you can see the sort of story developing when you go in, you fly with him, and then suddenly he's being shot at, he gets shot down, and then he's flying away from that PS5 controller. As you can see here, he's going to be rotating around in front of you. And obviously he'll light up and you'll be able to look left and right and see him just flying away. Oh, is he going to... No, when's he going to start flipping? He does loads of backflips in a minute. But that'll happen like so. And that'll just be the nice scene to sort of say like, oh, he's flying away. He's been sort of like, you know, unattached from his PlayStation controller spaceship. And now, oh, we need to save him. So then you come face to face with Alien Man. Space Bully Nebulax. What a bloody name that is. But with us now having fought Space Bully Nebulax, we have now moved on to the end of the ride. Now you may be thinking, what about the whole rest of it? Of course, that sort of rotation section where you do come face to face with the alien fella, that is like halfway through the ride, so where is the rest of the ride gone? I've decided to do it off camera because a lot of it was just sort of the same animatronics and just obviously fiddling about with it to make sure it was timed up correctly. And you don't really want to just see me doing the same thing over and over again, because that's boring. Well, I don't want to see myself doing that over and over again and talk over it. So neither do you guys. You don't want to see that either. So we've skipped to the end. And as you can see, we've got the PS5 rocket ship type thing here, the spaceship. And it's going to have Astrobot on the top waving at you as you go past to the station or the offload station. And then you're going to have the alien guy in the background, really small, blasting off into space after you've defeated him. And yeah, we're just going to have this nice scene at the end where you've sort of transported all the way through, you've had that battle with the final boss, which is him, and then you come to a nice, you know, nice finale where everything's really happy, everything's just, the music's really nice, there's some nice like yippee sound effects or something, I don't know, and then some planets in the background that you saw on the ride as well to show how far you've travelled through the solar system as well. Yeah, a fun ride this actually, if I do say so myself. And I can't lie, I was very skeptical when I first started making this ride, when I built the coaster layout, because I've not played Astrobot like I've said, so trying to make a ride based on it, will I be able to capture the actual essence of the game? Will it actually seem like the game? Will it just look like a space roller coaster? I'm pretty happy with how I've done with this. You guys can be the judge of that when you see the POV at the end of this video. And we're going to move on to the next ride after that. But I genuinely think it came out a lot better than I expected. And I just didn't want it to be like too much theming. I wanted it to have that space mountain characteristic where a lot of it, you just see the stars in the distance and it's just about that speed and that sort of rotation as you're going through. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is literally the same with the screens and everything around. It's not necessarily about the story of the coaster. It's just, whoa, we're blasting through space. Kind of wanted it to follow a similar thing to that whilst having a bit of a story. So yeah, putting the final touches on the final coaster here in Discovery Studios. I'll talk about it way more with the Pokemon Dark Ride because that will be the final ride, but just thank you everyone for all the support during this series. I know it's been a lot less consistent than previous ones, and I do want to get on top of that with Planet Coaster because it is so difficult to try and build stuff of high quality and release episodes all the time. So I'm going to try and find that happy medium in the middle for the next park. And I've really enjoyed building this park. Of course, there's been times where it's been unrealistic compared to before, and times where it's been very realistic with the dark rides and stuff. And I feel like this park was more about the dark rides than the coasters necessarily. So again, we'll hit that happy medium with the next park. And I'm very excited to move on. After building this coaster to the Pokemon Dark Ride, finish that to the biggest and best thing in the park, and then move on to whatever's next after that. So yeah, amazing stuff. Let's go in to real time and check out the final coaster in Discovery Studios. And for the final time, you join me in front of the PlayStation land. And yeah, this portal will change quite drastically because I'm going to have to add some theming to it because now you know what's in it. So it needs more theming like the other ones have. But obviously I didn't want to do that originally because, well, you know exactly what was in there before we built it. And we're going to smash into this pole one last time before heading in. And as you can see, you've got the little big Planet Coaster right in front. Of course, the big job of the Ratchet & Clank Coaster right overhead. You have the whole Crash Bandicoot area to the left, which I'll show you fully what I'd finished off in there when we do the final tour. And over to the right, we have the pathway down to the Astrobot themed area. And yeah, to be fair, this looks like it should be the entrance to the PlayStation land because of that. But it is in fact not. This is the Astrobot area, and as you can see to our left we have this flat ride over here which we put down in the last episode, which still needs a name, so if you have a name for that then do leave it in the comments. And then today we put down this ride right here. I don't even know what manufacturer either of these flat rides have or what their names are, but again, if you have a name suggestion for the actual ride itself, for the entrance sign, for the actual thing, leave it in the comments because I would love to see it along with a name for the main Astrobot coaster. Now we've finished the theming, I think now's the perfect time to get a name for that in. And you've got the PS5 controller and the PS5 itself. I did say about replacing those USB slots with the actual face of the spaceship, but it didn't make sense because the controller is just the normal controller, not the spaceship version. So it wouldn't make total sense, but here we are anyway. Outside the front of the ride, you've got the facade behind, which of course has a queue line in front of it without covers yet, and it follows a similar style all the way around with a little gap in the middle for some trees. And then yeah, it just keeps on going until this flat ride over here, and that literally covers the front of this massive warehouse because, to be honest, you cannot see this from any of the sight lines we just looked at, but from somewhere like here it looks like you'd be able to see it really easily. So I'm very happy with the sight lines and how I managed to do that, and I would go in there and show you exactly what to expect from this ride, but that would just spoil the POV. And you're literally going to see that in a minute. But the warehouse itself, of course, you've got this main bit down here, which is where the queue and the station building is. This little ridge here is where the launch upwards is, and then this section that actually comes out of the ceiling here is various different points on the ride where it does just go a little bit too tall for what the rest of the building's height was. And like I said, you somehow can't see it from the ground, which is a result, and I will take it. But with the ride being inside of this building and it now being fully complete, I think now is the best time to take you on for a ride on it and show you a POV of the final roller coaster in Discovery Studios. Make sure you watch past the POV because there might be a little teaser in there for something coming soon. And once again, make sure you subscribe and leave a like if you do enjoy this coaster and you've enjoyed this series. Enjoy the POV and I will see you in the next episode of Discovery Studios.